Guess where we are, everyone? Yes, we're standing in the wind, but guess where else we are? Did you guess the Old West? Did you guess the Old West? Well, then you guessed correctly. It's a Sometimes vlog. It's a vlog that happens sometimes, and today it's happening in the wind, so I hope you can hear me because my voice is still completely humbucked, and it's very, very windy on top of it. So I'm fighting the wind, and I'm fighting the laryngitis-ness of the screaming and the voice loss that we talked about already, so you don't need to know. If you don't know, go backwards and check it out. Now, if you haven't guessed already, I am here because of this. The Mark Twain Museum at the Territorial Enterprise. That is what I came here to Virginia City to look at, but it's more than just that. Virginia City. Look at this moonrise here. I don't know if you can see right about there. The moon is rising above the state of Nevada out here over the 100-mile view, the famous 100-mile view from Virginia City, which is perched precariously on the side of Mount Davidson. That's hard to say, perched precariously on the side of Mount Davidson. There's the old cemetery down there, and here's what's left of the town of Virginia City, which is all steps down. Mark Twain said, well, the town burned down in 1875, which was about 10 to 15 years after the original Virginia City that was going strong, that Mark Twain came to and wrote about in the book Roughing It. I'll get back to Roughing It in a second, but Mark Twain wrote that you could walk out of the back door of one of the buildings in Virginia City and pretty much onto the roof of the next level down. That sometimes you would have to go into one building, downstairs to the basement, and then into another building to get out onto the next street. That's how crazy these buildings are. And look, it is pretty much literally true. Here's the first floor of this building, and you can see it's pretty much at roof level or second floor, third floor level of the next building down. And in Mark Twain's day, these buildings went all the way down several more blocks. There was a massive Chinatown, there were massive amounts of miners living in shacks here, but of course there was also a snobby, rich part of town, which was back up in this area. Still a few mansions left. Look at this. They still have their courthouse for Story County back there on another street. There's all kinds of crazy casinos here now, of course, but underneath us was the Comstock lode, one of the richest silver mining operations of all time. So a very historical place. Oh, look at that moonrise. There you go, you can see it peeking out of the clouds, the moon. Not too many people walking around here. So Virginia City at the moment looks like a ghost town, but a ghost town it is not. Ever since the old comstock mining days, in which they pulled out billions and billions and billions, not literally billions, millions. Let's see. Let's look. Here's the memorial here about all of the crazy comstock lode mines here. We have the Ophir, the California, the Mexican, the Virginia Consolidated. Wow. More than $500 million were extracted. Now that is back then's money. So that would be billions and billions of dollars worth of silver today. It literally changed the world economy. That's how much silver was extracted from directly under our feet here. All down the side of Mount Davidson, which I just showed you. All the way down into that canyon. Massive, massive, deep, deep shafts were sunk to get the silver. This is basically where timber mining came into fruition. That old cliche of all the timbers holding up the mine. That was pretty much, I don't know about invented for Virginia City, but it was invented right around 1860, right around the same time that silver was discovered in Virginia City. So it's one of the first examples of a massive, deep, deep, deep hard rock mining city that was made possible, see, by the timber. So this is how these mines go way down into the mountains beneath our feet. So, of course, being a crazy silver boom town here, the state of Nevada all started, I think the silver was discovered in 1859. The state of Nevada was a territory of Nevada back there. It was split off from Utah territory and became its own territory around, I think, 1860, 61, 62, question mark, somewhere in there. Abraham Lincoln appointed Mark Twain's brother, Orion Clemens, to be the secretary of the state of Nevada under James W. Nye, who is the acting governor of Nevada Territory. It wasn't a state yet, which was primarily concerned, obviously, with all kinds of crazy mining and prospecting. So Mark Twain tried out his hand at prospecting, but later ended up becoming a newspaper reporter and working for the Territorial Enterprise, which was the Virginia City newspaper. What he would do is he would write letters to various newspapers just for funsies, you know, and he was such a good writer and he was so funny that this newspaper, Joseph Goodman, who was the editor of the paper, reached out to Mark Twain and said, I want you to come work for us, I'll pay you however much money. So Mark Twain walked here from the Aurora mining district, which is about, if you Google Bodie, California, basically walked from near Bodie, California, all the way to Virginia City, quite a stretch, and came into the Territorial Enterprises office, which wasn't actually located in this building at that time, but came up onto this street just down here into the Territorial Enterprises office and started work as a newspaper reporter, first under his own name, Sam Clemens, but later, on a visit to Carson City, he would sign one of his letters back to the paper here as Mark Twain. So even though Sam Clemens was born in Missouri, people in this town like to say Mark Twain was born right here in Nevada. Technically Carson City maybe, but really Virginia City because that's where he was. Later he came back after the town was destroyed in 1875, long after he'd moved on. He did come back, I believe, and gave a lecture at Piper's Opera House there. So Mark Twain was in some of the buildings. Some of the buildings here did survive that fire. Further on down, I went on a tour of the old Washoe Club, where Mark Twain was a frequent guest of the Millionaire's Room or something like that. It took his whole haunted tour. It's crazy. So I am filming for some random land. It's going to be one of the most random lands of all time because I got here after dark, after everything was closed. At first these street lights weren't on. I was getting kind of worried, like, really? I did find a hotel here. It's this hotel right here. An original, old school Comstock era. You can see Melanie's Hotel. Must have been the original name for it. Now it's called the Silver Queen. This was the spot, actually, that the original Territorial Enterprise where Mark Twain worked was located. Some of the artifacts from that original building that was destroyed in the fire were later moved down the street to what is now the Territorial Enterprise building. But right here, where I'm staying in that hotel, is the original spot where Mark Twain got his first job as a writer and launched a career that would completely change my life. Now, roughing it. Long after Mark Twain had moved on and had a storied newspaper career in San Francisco and other places, and later to the Hawaiian Islands, and had come back and written a book about his around-the-world newspapering trip called The Innocents Abroad, which made him a household name all over the country. It was a bestseller in its time. It was the Titanic of its time, you know what I mean? Everybody read this book. It was so funny. After he wrote The Innocents Abroad, the American publishing company that had published Mark Twain's first book went to him and said, we need another book. And all he could think of is, well, what about my time out west during the flush times, as they were known, the good old days of Virginia City, Nevada, and the Comstock lode. So he wrote about traveling across the Old West in a stagecoach with his brother Orion, coming out to Carson City when it was being founded, and then later coming and becoming a reporter here in Virginia City. And that is all contained in the book Roughing It. Now that book is one of my favorite books of all time. So imagine you could step right into your favorite book, right into, I can't think of a good example. What if you could step right into Mordor? Well, Mordor's not very nice. Right into Hobbiton from the Lord of the Rings, or right into wherever it is that Harry Potter hangs out in the Harry Potter books, like right there. Well, I am right inside of one of my favorite books. Again, I apologize for the wind. I didn't have time to build this vlog to scale or to paint it, and I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be able to upload this in HD, because I have no cell phone service here whatsoever, and although the hotel does have Wi-Fi, it is pretty spotty. Look at that moonrise there. I also have a very, very low battery, so I'm hoping you can see some of this stuff. I have my screen brightness all the way down, and I can't tell how well you can see. But you can see it is pretty much a ghost town out here. There is nothing going on. A few of the bars are open. Ironically enough, the Mark Twain casino is open. We got here a little too late, really, to film much. So I went on a tour of one of the buildings. I didn't even go in the Territorial Enterprise Museum yet. I'm going to do that tomorrow. But I'm here on the side of Mount Davidson, hopefully to film as much as I can in the morning before taking off for some other random things. I am super, super low on money. I did not anticipate this, but last night I was driving, and I was just too tired. I got a hotel. I was too tired. I think I said that earlier on today's earlier vlog. I forgot all about that. I've already done a vlog today. Well, you're getting a bonus vlog. This is the bonus vlog. Well, it's a sometimes vlog. We didn't say it happens once a day, right? We said it happens sometimes, and right now is one of the times. Look at this. So there's lots of stuff to look at, lots of neat stuff. Hopefully I'll be able to show you some more neat stuff tomorrow from somewhere else. I'm filming it all for Random Land, so I don't want to give too many spoilers, and probably some of you have been here before. Virginia City, very famous place. Lots of people come here. They get married literally underneath the hotel I'm staying in. So that is pretty awesome. So I'm just here hanging out with the old Mark Twain by myself. The only food in town right now that I can eat, because the gluten-free thing, is the can of, what is it? beef stew that I brought with me. It is totally cold. I have a camp stove I could heat it up on, but I'm pretty sure the city of Virginia City, having burned down several times, not appreciate my open flames out behind the hotel cooking up a can of beef stew. So I'm probably gonna have to eat that cold. The other option is a can of cold Spam, or drive all the way to Carson City and try to find some food, which I don't think I'll be doing. I'm gonna try and go to sleep as early as I possibly can. If I can get some signal here, I will try to do a Periscope later, which will be before this, if that makes sense, because this may take a long time to upload. Anyways, I'm running very, very low on battery, so I'm showing you as much as I can, because even though I'm gonna show you this in the daytime, and I thought, don't vlog here, you've already got one today. Look at this guy, huh? Mark Twain. I'll have to Instagram him tomorrow where you can see him better. He's in the lobby of my hotel. There's a bar, is the lobby of my hotel. I checked in at a bar, straight Old West. And look at, there's a meeting of E. Clampus Vetus happening up there on the next sort of Piper's Opera House in the Miners Union Hall. So Virginia City, very much alive and well. And by the way, when you drive to Virginia City from Carson City, you can still see all kinds of modern mining activity going on the original comstock veins and mines and crazy things, most of which are flooded now up because they were sunk so deep, but there's still mining going on today. There are still crazy Old West people out here. Very much the Old West is very alive and well here. It is definitely not really a ghost town, although this little touristy strip of the original Virginia City is very quiet and interesting. So I really wanted to show you just this. Look at this. I mean, how often does this happen? How often do you get to see an Old West town like this? I just wanted to show you guys what I'm basically experiencing here. I'm going to be walking around here for the next hour or two, just kind of by myself before going to sleep. I've really done nothing but sit in the car all day, so I'm going to walk around here. We got some local yokels, teenagers driving around with nothing to do. It is a very, very small town. Oh, here's some of the rich houses up here. I don't know if you can see. I will be posting some Instagrams here from tomorrow. Look at this. I know it's windy here, but look at that moonrise. That is incredible. Down yonder was located the original Chinatown, since burned down. There was the International Hotel, since burned down. So fire destroyed quite a lot of the original Virginia City. When I say the original, I mean the 1860s Virginia City. All of this dates mostly from the 1870s. So the second half, there are really two halves of the Comstock silver mining craze, the flush times here in Virginia City. Look at, here's the Bucket of Blood Saloon. They have a massive window back there. You can see that 100-mile view I was talking about. Over here, the Delta Saloon has a crazy suicide table. It's all crazy. There's so much crazy stuff going on here. This is basically the craziest roadside attraction of all time. Here we go, some local yokels, some young hooligans looking out at the view. And I want to show you guys the hotel, so I'm going to go inside and do that. But I just wanted you to see how amazing this looked. And I'm going to have a little stabilization on this, so I apologize if it looks wavy. I know some people really don't like that. It makes them sick. But it's shaky because I'm walking around, so I'm trying to hurry and show you as much as I can before that twilight is completely gone. I think it would be brighter, but the sun obviously goes down behind Mount Davidson to the west, and therefore is basically we're in a giant shadow of what little twilight remains. Look at that, it's amazing. There's a bunch of murals here. So I'll take all kinds of pictures, and I'm sure I'll post them to Instagram as soon as I can. If not, they'll be on the Justin Scarlett Facebook or the Live Fast Live Part Facebook. Some kind of Facebook at some point. But this is a dream come true for me. The book Roughing It, I highly recommend. It's a part travelogue, part history. It's very, very funny. Yes, it was written in the 1800s, but I really feel like it still holds. Compared to reading Charles Dickens or Jane Austen or something like that, it really holds up because Mark Twain basically was the Lincoln of our literature, as it's often been said, and he basically almost coined the American way of speaking, talking to each other, typing, writing the English language in Americanese. So it's very easy still to understand him to this day because he created so much of the way we talk. Okay, inside. Now, like I said, Virginia City's perched on the side of Mount Davidson, so it's stepped up this crazy steep town. Kind of like those crazy hills in San Francisco, although I think in some places even steeper. They're running around looking for something open, so who knows where they're from, Carson City or here. They're running around being crazy hoodlums. But you and me are going to go inside of this hotel and look. I kind of want to talk to those hoodlums. I don't have enough battery. Okay, here we go. Remember, quiet time after 10 p.m. It's nowhere near 10 p.m. yet. It's very, very early. Well, I have no idea what time it is, but it's very early here. But it's getting very dark because, like I said, we're in the shadow, the lee of the mountains. Very, very shadow. I have Chargy with me. I do have Chargy, but I can't have Chargy plugged in while I vlog. Maybe while I periscope and not while I vlog, because the cord dangles in front of the camera. Crazy. So anyway, the point of telling you about that, reminding you about the hills was, this is vertical. I mean, there's a lot of stairs there. A lot of stairs to get to the second story. Whoa. Also, I'm not whispering, I just can't talk. Also, this hotel, the stories are very, very tall, very, very high ceilings back in the day. So we're on the second floor now. Look at this. Isn't this cool? So this was an original 1870s hotel built on the original site of the original territorial enterprise where Mark Twain first became a recorder. Now I'm trying to whisper because there are people staying in this hotel, so hopefully you can hear me. This is room number 11. Room number 11 is supposed to be super haunted. Look how creepy. Look at that. That is amazing and terrifying and creepy. And I'm up here on the third floor. Now that back door up here on the second floor, which you saw how many steps that was crazy. The back door, which goes up even more steps, leads to flat ground. So the city is like stairs. Look at this, by the way. Doesn't that remind you of the Sixth Sense? Creepy. So we're going upstairs here. Up this twisty incline. And this is poor camera work here in a second. But I'm going to have to use two hands to open this door. So you're not going to see much for 1 second. Bear with me. I just want to show you these accommodations. And look at that. Isn't that cool? I wonder when they added the iron bars. Maybe one too many people hiding by themselves. Okay, take a couple steps here. You're going to see nothing but darkness. We did it. Sorry about that. I usually do anything I can to avoid having to set down the phone or have to do some kind of black thing. The vlogs are filmed with the phone. Many people ask, what do you film your videos with? The Random Land videos are all filmed with a camera. Oh man, it's kind of a mess in here. I just dumped my camera bag and all this stuff. So the vlogs are filmed with a camera. This camera, as a matter of fact, not the vlog, sorry. The Random Land videos. I am trying to get a new camera. I'm trying to get a specific camera, a new one, but I think it's going to take a long time. Right now they're filmed with a Canon T3i, but the vlogs are always filmed with the phone. The reason being is because we can whip out this phone and film a vlog many places on the fly and all this stuff. If I don't have my camera or something like that, and because I want to keep it sort of somewhat consistent, as consistent as I can, we film it with the iPhone. So look at this room. Isn't this crazy? It's hard to tell with cameras, but this is a very small room. Look how big my body is. I can almost touch the wall. Here's this bed here. The other thing I was going to say about Virginia City is because the comstock mines are all sunk down below our feet on this crazy mountain, and because they were all built well over 100 years ago, 150 years ago now, basically, over 150 years ago, some of them, all these buildings have settled really weird, so they're all at this crazy angle. So if I had a ball, it would roll down this carpet, and it wouldn't need pushing even on the carpet, let me tell you. This whole thing is kind of at an angle. But it's actually super fun and awesome. Now here's my view out this window. You'll see this in Random Land too, because I don't think you can see too well at the moment. But the view out this window, not a great view. It was 20 bucks more for a good view. And this was only 50 or 60 bucks to stay in here, which if you don't travel often, let me tell you, 50 or 60 bucks for any hotel room is great. This bed is the craziest, creakiest I Love Lucy bed ever. It is at a crazy angle, so I'm going to be rolling off onto the floor a lot. It's one of those crazy old soft mattresses that your grandma's had in her house since the 1970s, and nobody likes to sleep on it, and you sleep on it and you go, oh. But it's awesome. It's part of the experience. You look at these old chairs. I don't know when those are from. Who knows? The 50s, the 40s, the 30s, the 70s, the 80s, probably 5 minutes ago. They're IKEA. God only knows. But they're incredible. The water closet here. Smallest bathroom. Okay, so here's the door. Look at the size of the door. How close to the bed, how close to the wall, how close to the wall. When I open the bathroom door, it almost touches the bed. And this is one of those weird skinny indoor doors. So it's a very small door. Got a little medicine cabinet here for your meds. Got a little sinky-roo. Doesn't even fit in the bathroom. You have this little toilet here, still unused. Haven't broken in the toilet yet. And this little tiny, like RV-sized shower in here. And I'm not sure when this building received plumbing, obviously not in the 1870s, but clearly these bathrooms are more of a modern addition to these little tiny hotel rooms. I'm sure they had some sort of washstand or something, or chamber pot back in the day. I don't know, how did hotels operate when it came to using the facilities in the 1800s? If somebody knows, please leave me a comment because I would love to see that. Speaking of comments, be nice, guys. If you can't think of anything nice, please don't say anything at all. We really try, the Live Fast Die Poor team, to keep everything super family friendly and positive and upbeat. We try to put positivity out in the world, so please try and give positivity back. I don't care if you have a criticism, especially not of me, or something you think could be better, but let me tell you, from both sides of the equation, whether it's you or me or whoever, in my experience, all people, whether they're creating some video that you watch or whether it's someone in your own life, respond much better to positive reinforcement than rude criticism. So if you're seeing something and you don't like it, and you're watching maybe somebody's YouTube videos or something else, and you're saying, I don't like this person being in the video, I don't like this thing, or I don't like the other thing, you're probably not going to be, just from being on the other side of it, from being in bands and listening to other bands talk about when people heckle them or don't like their songs or comedians or something like that, and you might honestly be a real fan who really wants to see something be different, I will tell you that is the wrong way to go about it. It's the same thing as if you were painting or you were doing whatever it is you do, and somebody says, that sucks. You suck. You're probably much less likely to listen to that person than if they had said, well, this isn't my thing, but this other thing you did is more my thing. Just putting that out there, not for my own sake, because I can take it. I'm a big boy, I did this to myself. But lately there's been a little rash of rudeness towards people that are very important to me for absolutely no reason, in an attempt basically to troll me, so whatever. I'm not that concerned about it. But just keep in mind, friends, if you see something like that, just thumbs it down so it goes away. Whoa! Wow, did you see that? You guys flipped over. You guys are crazy. Don't feed the trolls though, guys. Come on. Everybody knows that. But anyway, look at this crazy thing. So this hotel, look at the super high ceilings like out there. So this hotel is supposed to be crazy, crazy haunted. I am not that worried about it though. I'm a little bit of a skeptic. However, I have never slept on my own in an 1870-something hotel in a weird bed where there's supposed to be ghosts, where there's essentially absolutely no internet. There's one spot of Wi-Fi for the hotel that works actually behind the hotel, so you have to stand in the alley. That's how I'm going to upload this. And if it only will upload in low resolution, I really apologize. I really want this to be in HD, but it's already running a little long, so we'll see what I could do. It only really works back then in one spot. I have no cell phone service, no nothing. So this is a pretty crazy time. I'm gonna get up as early as I can, film some more Random Lands. I really want you guys to be able to see the details and the edit. Even though Random Lands are so shorter than the Sometimes vlog, an edited video is so powerful because you can see things in the right context and you can pack so much more information into them. It's gonna be weird though because I have no voice. Very difficult to film, but I'm gonna do my best. There's other things I want to film on 395 on the way back down into California. So there's all kinds of stuff. I'm attempting to take the last shred of budget I have for doing any kind of Random Land thing. I'm trying to squeeze videos out of it, even though I have no voice, before I head back to Disneyland and start doing some cool Disneyland stuff. Now that the 24-hour thing and all the 60th anniversary stuff, I've just been standing inside now. It must be so incredibly frustrating for you because all you're seeing is this tiny room. Of course, I have a copy of Mark Twain's Roughing It. I actually have 3 of these Oxford editions with the original illustrations. One of them I think I need to give to Tyler or somebody because 3 is too many. Oh, I gotta do 2 hands again. I apologize for this. But if you want to see more of the hotel, we're going to have to walk outside to this door. Anyways, I have so many copies of this, but this has the original illustrations in it. So if you're looking for a version of any Mark Twain book, try to find one of these Oxford Mark Twain Library. Oh no, this is University of California actually. This comes from UC Berkeley, but the Oxford ones have them too. Mark Twain Library, they all look like this. They have all the original illustrations. Illustrations were a big part of the way he wrote his books. He knew there would be certain illustrations, and he talks about things that are very vividly described in the illustration. So if you can help it, definitely get an illustrated version. Look how creepy this is, you guys. It is so scary. So down we go, and off I'm going outside to that weird spot outside in an attempt to upload this vlog. I love you all. Keep a lookout for Instagrams, Snapchat, Live Fast Die Poor, as I travel across this weary land and try to bring you as much as I can bring you. I do the best I can for you guys. I really appreciate everyone who subscribes and visits the website, livefastdiepoor.com, livefastdiepoor.spreadshirt.com, where we have cool nifty t-shirts. Oh, there were voices in that room. Somebody's staying in the haunted number 11 room. Can't remember why it's haunted, but there is some historical reason why somebody died or some crazy thing happened. This whole town is kind of obsessed with death. There's lots of dynamite and mining and gambling and prostitution and crazy stuff here. Very, very epitome of the Old West. All kinds of crazy stuff went down. So I went on this tour earlier. It was supposed to be a historical tour. All they did was talk about crazy deaths and ghosts and mind-blowing stuff. Anyway, I've got to do my duty and go home and sleep a while. So, hope you enjoyed this little brief look at Virginia City at dusk here. I'm just going to keep walking around, checking out some of the sights, and basically replaying the entire Virginia City chunk of the book Roughing It back in my head. I challenge you all, read Roughing It if you can. If you want a book of the Old West, if you're interested in it all, and any of this stuff, and what it was like in a funny way, pretty much Mark Twain's the way to go. Mark Twain, Roughing It, great book describing what it was like 1800s coming to the Old West. It's not too raunchy or anything like that. Mark Twain was a bit of a Victorian, never mentions, you know, anything too adult in his, or violent actually really in his books. He had very Victorian sensibilities by the time he was writing them. But yes, he wrote a lot about Virginia City and what it was like back then in those times. Fascinating stuff, I promise you, it's good. If you're a reader at all, definitely Mark Twain, The Innocents Abroad, or Roughing It. Roughing It ties right in here, Virginia City, Nevada. So there you go, Moonrise, over the 100-mile view. And I've got to upload this vlog now. 25 minutes, 26 minutes, can you believe we hung out that long? I love you all, like I said. I can't think of anything else to say because my voice is running out. I'll just give you this last look of this amazing place. I wish I could spend a week here and film 20 random lands of every little thing. But I can't. Hopefully I will get one. Hopefully it won't be too random. Here comes the one car leaving town, and I am standing right in the middle of the road. So I'm going to go home and sleep well in that weird bed. I probably won't sleep at all. I'll probably be scared of the ghosts. I don't really believe in them, but I'm going to be scared of them anyways. I'm going to go full Tyler Evans, and then tomorrow, I'm going full Twain. All right. Take care, you guys. I love you. Be positive. Stay positive. If you can't say anything nice, don't say it at all. But remember also this, I love that all of you are very supportive of me and you have my back. But remember, where it's possible, forgiveness is always better than revenge. Love is better than hate. Kindness is better than cruelty. And forgiveness is better than revenge, where possible. Sometimes you can't help yourself. I can pretty much always help myself though. So really I shouldn't have phrased it that way, but that's now the phrase, that's the quote. That's my quote. Forgiveness, that's the way to go. Turn the other cheek. That's what I like to do. Don't worry about it. It's no skin off anybody's back what happens. I love you. Virginia City, 27 minutes. What are we doing? What are we doing? We're not doing Mountain Dew. That's what I need. I need some Mountain Dew. Nope. Don't have any Mountain Dew, but I have bottles of water and cold beef stew to eat. See me on Snapchat, Live Fast I Pour, or Instagram, Live Fast I Pour. Justin Scott on Twitter. Goodbye, everybody. I can't talk anymore. The word of the day is saloon. You can tell I'm really tired. I'm gonna sleep.